Hello, everyone, and today is Wednesday. We're going to continue moving on with our book assignments to learn more about the chapters and making sure that we're acclimated to the course. So let's get started. So we're going to move today to chapter 3, and I'm going to share my screen with you. All right, so we have covered chapter 2, so now we're going to move into chapter 3. And chapter 3 basically is learning about the media and processes of art. So artists communicate with viewers through a variety of materials, tools, and techniques. Some artists speak with that paint. So we speak when we paint, we draw, that's expressing ourselves. The artist response is responsible for the artwork. And this right here, you'll see these glass forms in that particular piece. But then it goes down and talks about Jackson Pollock. And Jackson Pollock dripped paint onto a canvas, very awesome artist. And he used the media, and media is basically the tools that people use to create works of art. The plural form of media is medium, okay? And medium can be something as ordinary as pencils or gold leaf or anything like that, crayons, pastels, all of that. Then it goes and talks about drawing and how artists use sketchbooks to communicate their ideas. And that's what I asked you to get in the beginning of the class was to get a sketchbook, because when you get a sketchbook, that kind of helps you to put your ideas on paper, helps you to think, helps you to focus on, get your thoughts focused and sort of start to sketch things. And the more that you sketch, the better you become. So drawing is the first step of producing artworks. So basically you have a rough sketch that you complete, and a lot of fashion designers and they do sketches of their ideas before they actually make them. So it's important to have that sketchbook, and this is showing you an example in figure 3.2 of Leonardo da Vinci's actual work, okay? Then it talks about drawing media and the characteristics of crayons, markers, brushes, and pen. And it'll get in there. And then it gets into stippling, cross hatching, blending, all of those shading techniques. And we are want to make sure that you know what those shading techniques are. And the shading techniques you need to know that goes from light to dark. And I'm going to go back up. Is hatching, cross hatching, blending, and stippling. Hatching is when you basically shade using lines that's going straight, parallel. Cross hatching is crisscross lines. Blending is when you fade out from dark to light, and stippling is when you use dots. Okay. So those are the shading techniques. Those are 4 basic shading techniques that you do need to know for your exam as well. So the 4 basic shading techniques are hatching, cross hatching, blending, and stippling. Okay. It goes and talks about painting, and this is a beautiful piece here by Isabel Bishop, but this is done with graphite, crayon, and chalk on paper. So you can really start to shade really well once you master shading. Excuse me, master shading, bless me, as well. So you can see that pigments and binders, and back in the day, they would use egg yolk as a binder to hold the paint together. And it goes and talks about pigments and solvents and things of that nature. Winslow Homer was an excellent painter. You'll see some of his work. Um, then it goes into printmaking. These are all different types of artistic processes. Printmaking is a process which artists repeat transfers of an image on a surface, and they keep making multiples of that work. So a print is similar to how you would print on a computer, but you make so many different copies, but it's hand done. So they have to ink the plate, transfer the image. They have to create the printing plate first, and then ink the plate, and then transfer the image. And it makes so many of different types of editions. This is what I actually majored in, printmaking, where I drew original prints and made so many multiples of them. This is the relief process here. This method here, Elizabeth Catlett. If you look her this picture up online, it looks so much better than this what you see here in the book, but it looks really beautiful. And this is Elizabeth Catlett, was actually an African American artist, and she did this piece called The Sharecropper in 1970. These are the processes you need to know: intaglio, lithography, screen print. And these are checking your understanding questions. You'll get to that later, but the main thing I want you to do today for these chapters is to get your definitions for chapter, um, write the vocabulary for chapter 3, and then it goes into sculpture. So vocabulary term for sculpture is a 3-dimensional work of art. Okay. There's sculpture in the round. There's relief sculpture. So there's 2D and 3D. So sculpture in the round means you can see around all the sides of the sculpture. And then relief sculptures, you only see 3 sides. Okay. So it goes into modeling, carving, and casting, and talks about the process of crafts and fine art. So art made to be experienced visually is called fine art. Um, and it says art made to function is applied art. So those are two different things, fine art and applied arts. So you have to kind of know the difference between the two. Okay. Then it goes down, talks about processes and architectural designs. Okay. And then it goes into technological media, which we learn about photography, digital systems, and multiple programs. So photography, you need to know, is the technique of capturing optical images on light sensitive surfaces. Okay. So that's what we want to do. This is Dorothea Lange, this piece that you see here. You can see it's really sad. This was done in the 1920s during the time of the Great Depression and all those things that were going on during that time. You can see there, very sad work. Um, then it goes on about different media processes, film, video, digital system is a system that processes words and images directly as numbers or digits. So those are some vocabulary terms. So today, focus only on the vocabulary words. Go ahead and get those done and upload those for grade today. Okay. Um, and then I'm going to explain to you tomorrow what you will do next. But go ahead and upload the vocabulary terms for this particular chapter. And I will give you a grade for it. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So read chapter 3, upload the vocabulary terms, and we'll go from there. Okay. Thank you.